Hey guys, Evan Laux here for Motorcycle and Powersports News. As you can see, we're at the Crawford Museum in Cleveland, Ohio, and right now we're looking at this 1968 Harley-Davidson XLCH Chopper, and it's your Ride of the Week. So we're joined here by John Lutch. He's been showing us all these really cool motorcycles today. And this Harley's really unique, you know, for the sole fact that it's kind of been, it's like a time capsule almost. It really hasn't changed much since it was first built, you know, 50 years ago.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It's actually one of the few remaining choppers that was originally built as a chopper. It was never a road bike that was eventually converted. It was purpose-built from the day one as a show bike, as a chopper. It went through several national shows, won several awards, and then after its time on the show circuit was retired and literally sat in the builder's living room for over 30 years. So what you have in front of you is literally, like you said, it's a time capsule. Nothing on this motorcycle has been changed. It's all original. It's just been tuned up, basically. But everything that you see on the bike is as it was in 1968, 1969, unrestored. So it's really kind of a remarkable slice of what that whole time period and that aesthetic was all about back then.
It's definitely a really pretty showpiece. I'd love having this in my living room. But you said it still rides fine. Like,
yeah.
It's still a rideable bike.
It absolutely is.
And you know, something to touch on is how narrow the handlebars are together. It's kind of got a unique ride to it. Do you want to talk to that point a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Well, as I was saying earlier, the center of gravity on this bike is right about here, and its natural state is falling over. That's what it wants to do. So I think for an experienced chopper rider, it would be no big deal, but for those of us who don't have that experience, the high bars, the pretty extreme rake on the fork creates a very unstable machine in anything but an absolutely straight line. So there's a lot of wheel kick when you go off center. It just wants to keep going. And I have to take my hat off to the guys back in the day who rode these all over the place, because the turning radius is about 1.5 miles.
Right.
It just doesn't turn. But it's a cool bike. It's a very heavy bike, and it's part of our permanent collection, and we're really, really lucky to have it. Like we were talking about earlier, it is a literal slice of unaltered history from that time period.
And since this bike is so old, from 50 years ago, what sort of design elements kind of represent that era of motorcycle building?
Well, I think the way that the frame or the front forks are raked, the angle that they're at today, they would do it differently in terms of the geometry, which would make it a lot easier to steer. These are actually time period correct CB car fog lights or driving lights that they used to put on the bikes a lot. Very unadorned instruments. You basically get one pod and that's it. A little tool bag in the front, no front brakes. So it was kind of a big, hairy-chested, no helmet, hair in the wind kind of bike to ride. And it really, short exhaust, super loud, really speaks well of that period. And of course, the wonderful 30 coats of lacquer, metal flake on the tank.
Yeah, it definitely stands out.
Yeah, that's neat.
As far as other components and aspects of this build, tell us a little bit about the engine. How many cubic inches it is?
About 900 cubic inch Sportster engine. I think the engine is pretty much unmodified, pretty much stock, like I said, the bike really hasn't been messed with at all, other than the fact that it was converted into a hardtail and a chopper back in the day, and we're super, super lucky to have it. It's a real highlight for our collection.
What do we know about the builder?
He was a local builder. Obviously had a very, very high skill level because the bike took some awards when it went on the road. It was recognized as being a really well-built chopper. I don't know what happened with his further building career. I think it was somewhat truncated. I don't think he did a lot after this, but his work was pretty well recognized in the period, and then I think it kind of faded into obscurity as the years went by.
We see that a lot actually, you know, a one and done build, and it's just so good you don't have to make another one after that.
Yeah, when you reach the top of the mountain, you just slide back down, that's all. So.
Well, John, thanks for telling us about this chopper. It's always great talking with you.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Guys, thanks for watching. This has been another Ride of the Week here at the Crawford Museum, and make sure you're tuning into MPN to see more Ride of the Week content. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks.